There exists a number so large that the universe itself can contain it, not to write it down, not to store it, not even to think about it without your brain screaming. And no, this isn't science fiction. This is pure, mind-blowing mathematics. Honestly, the first time I heard about it, I had to sit down. Today, we meet a number that breaks reality. Your brain evolved to survive, not to process infinity. Sure, you can imagine 10, 100, a million. But there's a point where numbers stop being numbers and start becoming monsters living rent-free in your head. So here asks the big question. How big can a number get before even the universe says, nope? Crazy, right? I know. Let's start small. Relatively speaking, 1 million seconds is about 12 days. 1 billion seconds? That's over 31 years. Already weird to think about, huh? Now imagine trying to count that manually. Your brain would probably just throw its hands up and quit. It's a fun fact, but humans don't really feel numbers directly. We feel orders of magnitude. Our intuition is logarithmic. And this is exactly where things get dangerous for your imagination. Now let's go back to 1938. A mathematician named Edward Kasner asked his young nephew a simple question. What should we call a really, really big number? The kid, being a kid, came up with a fun word. Googol. A googol is a 1 followed by 100 zeros, or 10 to the power of 100. Just to put that into perspective for you, a googol is bigger than all the grains of sand on every beach on Earth. It's bigger than all the atoms in your body. It's even bigger than the estimated number of stars in the entire observable universe. And believe it or not, we're just getting started. Kastner didn't stop there. He then introduced an even more staggering concept, the googolplex. A googolplex is 10 to the power of a googol. That's a 1, followed by a googol zeros. Here is the crazy part that messes with your head. Even if every single atom in the entire observable universe was a piece of paper, and you tried to write a 0 on each, you would still run out of atoms long before you finished writing out the number. The universe literally cannot contain it. Let that sink in for a moment. Physics itself says, no, can't do it. This is the point where numbers stop being just numbers. We're not talking big anymore. We're talking universe-breaking huge. Your brain might be screaming right now, and trust me, mine did too the first time I grasped this. So what is the Googol machine? Well, it's not a physical gadget you can buy. It's a thought experiment. Imagine a machine specifically designed to store a number like a googolplex. The experiment asks a simple question. What would break first, the machine or something else? The answer is everything, even reality itself. To understand why, we have to look at the physical limits of our universe. The observable universe contains about 10 to the power of 80 atoms. That's it. That's your absolute non-negotiable storage limit. No fancy future tech can get around this. No alien magic. Information needs to be stored on matter, and matter is finite. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine the universe is a giant tent. Each atom you have is a pole holding up the fabric of that tent. Now, try to stretch that tent to be big enough to fit a googolplex inside. It would tear instantly, not because the number is infinite. It's perfectly finite. But because the universe itself is just too small to handle it. Okay, but what if we cheat? What if we get clever? Could we compress the number? Encode it in some really, really smart way? Sorry, but physics still wins. All your clever tricks mean nothing in the face of this. The universe has a hard physical limit on how much information it can hold. This was proven by a genius named Claude Shannon, the father of information theory. He demonstrated something brutal but true. Information has a minimum physical cost. You cannot compress data beyond a certain point, a limit defined by entropy. No quantum computing hacks, no hidden dimensions, no alien technology can save you. Even a number like a googolplex just laughs at your attempts to contain it. But here's the truly wild part. For mathematicians, a googolplex isn't even that impressive. There are numbers that make it look microscopic. Numbers like Graham's number or tree 3. These numbers are so mind-bogglingly huge that they don't just exceed the capacity of the universe. They exceed human comprehension itself. Take Graham's number. It's completely insane. You can't even describe it using normal exponents like we did with a googolplex. You need to use special recursive operations stacked on top of other recursive operations over and over again just to define how it's constructed. And yet, it's still a finite number. It has an end. Let that hurt your brain for a second. So, what does all of this actually mean? It means that mathematics is not bound by reality. Reality is bound by physics. Logic. The foundation of math has no size limit. Numbers exist as concepts whether the universe has room for them or not. This leads to a classic philosophical question. Did we invent these numbers, or did we discover something that was already there, waiting for us? Because if it's the latter, it suggests that the universe we live in might just be one tiny, tiny subset of the much larger realm of mathematics. Mind blown yet? I know mine was when I first started thinking about this. This is where science meets philosophy. Physics exists inside the framework of math. But math can exist entirely without physics. Numbers don't care about atoms. They don't care about space or time. They simply are. And that's what makes them so terrifyingly powerful. So when we say there's a number bigger than the universe can hold, we literally mean it. The universe does not have enough informational capacity to even acknowledge the full size of such a number. And now, here comes the part that really breaks everything. Get ready for this. The most shocking truth isn't about the number. It's about our reality. The universe is not the biggest thing that exists. Not in physical scale, not in complexity, and not in sheer possibility. Abstract structures like numbers dwarf it completely. The Googol machine doesn't fail because the machine is weak. It fails because reality is just too small. There are numbers that cannot be written down, cannot be stored, cannot be visualized, and cannot exist physically in any way, shape, or form, and yet they are perfectly valid, perfectly real in a mathematical sense, and perfectly terrifying to think about. This isn't science fiction. This is the very real collision point between mathematics and physics. The universe feels infinite to us, to our small human minds. But to the vast, endless landscape of mathematics, our entire cosmos is barely a footnote. So next time you look up at the stars and think this is everything, remember, there exists a number so large that even the entire universe can't hold it.